Radio.com. Thanks to everyone who's already received their calendar, and thank you so much for supporting AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Temperatures are cooling off and fall migration is underway. Do you know what that means? Eagle viewing season is almost here, and the National Eagle Center is your headquarters for information and experiences. This winter, experience bald and golden eagles in the wild with an unforgettable expert-led field trip. Plan your private eagle habitat tour and learn where the best eagle viewing is with weekly eagle counts. Plus, you can visit the eagles at the center all season long. Plan your visit or experience today online at nationaleaglecenter.org.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shambot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shambot Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblotfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Crooner's Supper Club invites you to enjoy drinks, a delicious dinner, and live music from both big-name local and national artists in a wide array of styles. Before or after your show, check out the new Maggie's Lounge, a perfect spot to visit with friends. It's open Wednesdays through Sundays beginning at 4:30 with cocktails and light fare. And you don't need a ticket to enjoy the great atmosphere of Maggie's. Crooner's Supper Club off Moore Lake and Highway 65. A little piece of old school nightlife in the 21st century.
We are back, and we are looking at a pretty lopsided matchup, Jim.
That's right, Ron. I mean, in one corner, we've got a 175-pound guy, and in the other, a 6,000-ton heavyweight train.
Jim, this guy has no idea what he's getting himself into.
It's no contest. Every day, people tempt fate and die trespassing on railroad tracks. See tracks? Think train.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Tired of the ruthless execution. Tired and ready for revolution. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Tired of injustice and brutality. Tired of the beatings and fatality. Tired of racist inhumanity. Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Good morning, and welcome to Connections Radio Show, where we talk about ideas that matter. I'm glad you've made the connection and with us today. I'm Laurie Fitz, your host, and the goal of our show is to explore a wide range of topics that challenge us to see ourselves, our community, and the world around us in ways that get us thinking, inspired, activated, connected, and perhaps inspired or challenged to do just a bit more because we've made the connection. Our topic today is celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. And often Martin Luther King Jr. is only thought of for his I Have a Dream speech, which is amazing, but it doesn't honor all that he advocated. He led marches and gave deeply moving speeches calling out recognition of unequal systemic economic issues. And his voice today is as clear, or maybe even clearer, on the economic disparities. I want to encourage you as you join our show today to be thinking about what are the ways that allies can be called to action, especially as we face an ever-increasing culture war at the heart of our leadership in the presidential race. We need to face how we can be a part of bending towards justice. Hosting with me today is Rick Bernardo.
That's me.
That's you.
Was I supposed to say something?
No, you can just say hi.
I know my name.
You're good. You're good.
Just not to brag, but I know
and
it.
we have Gary Hines, who leads Sounds of Blackness.
Good morning, Laurie.
So joyful having you here today.
The feeling is more than mutual.
And the music you bring is part of that activation, as far as I'm concerned.
Sounds of Blackness, thank you.
It calls us to act.
Yes.
And Scott Herold, who's making a difference. He is the CEO and founder of Rock the Cause Records and brings to us so much good music that's about activation as well.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having us here this morning.
Absolutely. And great stories to tell. And I'm excited to have this time to share.
Absolutely. Great stories coming up.
Absolutely. So what I'd like to first have us talk a little bit about is that song that we heard that as we came in, Fannie Lou. Tell me about being sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Well, those are the words, as you correctly say, Laurie, of the late, great Fannie Lou Hamer. And most notably popularized during her speech at the 1964 Democratic National Convention, which was internationally televised. And she was talking about racism and brutality and inequality. And there she said, once again, famously, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And when George Floyd was murdered 5 blocks from where Sounds of Blackness rehearsed, in the heart of the Black community in South Minneapolis, I'll never forget, we were at the rally because we normally would rehearse that evening, but we called it off when we're at the rally. And a young white teenage girl came up. She was holding her sign, and she recognized me from the group. And she said, "Hey, Mr. Sounds of Blackness, you guys are one of my favorite groups." And she said, "I bet you guys are going to do a song about this." She said, "Do me a favor, please don't make it a happy song." And I said, "Young lady, I promise you that will not happen." And I've told this story it's a true story. And no sooner than I said that, the words of Fannie Lou Hamer started ruminating. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Wow. And for our audience that don't know where that comes from as well, in terms of the work that she did in getting people registered to vote, and the work and the challenge and the heartache that we are facing today, she faced and made a difference.
Yes, she did. Fannie Lou Hamer went throughout the back roads of Mississippi and throughout the South, oftentimes by herself, sometimes through sundown towns where she wasn't even permitted to be and where there were no lights. And she was beaten and assaulted by the police, by the Klan, which frequently were one and the same at the time, and got thousands of people registered to vote on her own.
And she was inspired.
Yes, she was inspired by the genesis, really, of the most recent manifestation of the civil rights movement, and that was by the murder of Emmett Till, 14-year-old, and that galvanized and motivated not only Fannie Lou Hamer, but really was also part of the impetus. And I was blessed to speak with the great Rosa Parks when Sounds of Blackness did the tribute, or was part of the tribute album to her, and Emmett Till came up. That was part of her inspiration for just not giving up her seat that day, thinking of Emmett Till. So Emmett Till is so central to the birth of the civil rights movement, at least the most current manifestation of it in the 60s.
I love thinking about Rosa Parks sitting there and as well having the feeling of, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yes, absolutely.
I hear that in her voice as she goes, no, I'm not going to move.
Yes.
Done with it.
And in case people, some don't know, the Emmett Till story is just one frame in an entire film of absolute brutality. Just like you wouldn't want to watch even a little bit of this movie, because it's like it'd be too hard to take. And that story, when it surfaced, was just again one frame in what had been going on anyway. But
the wife carried on. Emmett Till's wife. Emmett Till. No. His mother. Because he was a young boy. He was only 14. His mother made sure people looked at his face.
Looked at what happened.
And had the
Yep,
picture of
yep.
his face.
Yes.
Good point. Yeah.
And we had to look at the ugly. And she wasn't going to let us look
Yeah,
away from
that's
the
right.
ugly.
Right on.
And created that overwhelming, this is wrong. And there were great progress every time we have the opportunity to look at something that's wrong. We do make changes. We made changes after George Floyd, but not soon after that, we get the backlash.
Yeah.
The backlash.
And it's like we have to learn about the cycles that take place. Horrible George Floyd being murdered here in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
But the world looked and listened and said, no, we can't keep doing this. And commitments were made by corporations. We're going to make a difference. There was going to be money invested. There was going to be time. There was going to be a recognition that we can't keep doing this. And where are we now? We're at a culture war.
Well, it's part of, as we were talking off the air, about the pattern of backlash.
Mhm.
So the backlash pattern is not new. It's a manifestation of white supremacy at its heart. And so even going back to emancipation, followed by the Reconstruction period, backlash, lynchings, Black disenfranchisement, terrorism. So we throw that word around, but it started here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they went to school on us.
Right. Exactly.
Unfortunately.
Even Hitler did, sadly enough.
Mhm.
But so that pattern of backlash is sadly nothing new. And now with the anti-woke, with the anti-DEI, it's alive and well.
Anti-education.
Education, it's alive and well once again.
It rides all on the tails of fabrication and lies.
Yes.
It's just making up stories. Remember Reagan talked about the welfare queens and stuff.
Right.
It rides on stuff that's made up.
And fears.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you say it's true also, Gary? Because I have experienced this in the work that I do, that allies and organizations that work to bring restorative justice to historically marginalized communities, those organizations and those individuals get further marginalized themselves.
Absolutely.
Because you're helping them marginalize, they marginalize you.
Yes. It's part of the backlash pattern,
Absolutely.
and consistent with it, sadly enough.
Yeah, and you spoke about Emmett Till. Down in Glendora, Mississippi, there is the Emmett Till Intrepid Center, which takes place in one of the old cotton gin buildings where they believe that was where Till was killed. And the man who runs that museum, his father was one of the men accused of killing Emmett Till, an African American. They accused him of it, even though he was not guilty of that murder. To this day, they're trying to make that a national historic site.
Right.
Money, Mississippi got the museum, as well it should. But for years, they've been fighting in Glendora to say this should be a state park. This should be a national monument. People come down from Washington over and over again, shake hands, promise. Nothing happens. But if you're in the Clarksdale, Mississippi area and you get a chance to go to Glendora to see the Emmett Till Center, I highly recommend it.
Yes.
Thanks, Scotty. CEO of Rock the Cause, by the way, Scotty Herold. As who's talking, just to remind people.
And Rock the Cause has produced some of the music that we're going to be hearing today.
We haven't produced it, but we've supported it.
Supported it.
Yeah,
there we
we've
go.
supported
Promotions.
Promotions. We've
Yes.
promotions, yeah.
And facilitated the collaboration of the amazing students at HSRA, High School for Recording Arts.
And we're going to hear that one in the third segment. It's one of my favorite of all favorite songs. In our next segment, we're going to be hearing the sounds of Blackness, Black Lives Matter, No Justice, No Peace
song.
Is that from the request also from the young girl?
Actually, that preceded that because that was in response to Philando Castile.
Okay.
Oh, geez.
And Sounds were blessed to sing at his funeral, and it was a great honor. But yeah, that's where Black Lives Matter, and we saw that the Black Lives Matter movement needed an anthem.
Yes.
And so we provided that.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to listen as the outro is some more of the Sick and Tired.
And the Orlando, Freddie, Eric, and Jamal. Sandy, George, and Brianna. Make me want to scream and holler. of being sick and tired. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Oh, my mama's crying, no more crying. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. We can't breathe. No more mama's crying, no more mama's crying. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. We can't breathe. Sick and tired. No justice, no being sick and tired. I'm so tired of being sick and tired. No justice, no being sick and tired.
Hi, this is Frank Brown, owner of Minuteman Press Uptown, Minnesota's only minority-owned union printing company. And I have big news. We've moved. Our new building in North Minneapolis is much larger with state-of-the-art equipment. That means we can get your projects done faster. We're on Washington Avenue North off I-94 at the Dowling exit, which allows for quick pickup and drop-off with plenty of free parking. And yes, we still print everything. I moved to MP Uptown because as a Black business owner, I want to be in North Minneapolis and help provide jobs. At MP Uptown, we pay above living wages, hire people who have made mistakes in the past, and believe in social justice. We have over 175 Google reviews with a 5-star rating. Let us handle your next print project because when you support our business, you support the community. Call 612-870-0777 or visit mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com. We print everything.
Hey, it's Patrick. The holidays are finally over and life is returning to normal. Except now you're noticing all those stains left on the carpet from the holiday company. So it's time to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res. The new year is here and it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the year. Carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery, basically every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. And don't forget about your air ducts to alleviate allergies and asthma and improve air quality in your home during these long winter days. Don't DIY it. Call Zero Res because you know they're safe and effective. The gotta love it guarantee makes it easy to get what you pay for. Zero Res absolutely stands behind every cleaning. This month, get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $119 and take an extra $75 off when you get your air duct Zero Res clean. Schedule your appointment today. Go to ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZERO-RES and ask for the AM 950 special. Zero Res.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andy Otto with Twin Cities Pride Amplified, inviting you to join us this Saturday at 3 p.m., where we'll be discussing the 2024 Minnesota legislative session with Kat Rohn, the executive director of Outfront Minnesota. The legislative session is just a few weeks away, so it's the perfect time to talk about the upcoming bills and how you can get involved. So join us Saturday at 3 right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
I'm having a really hard time lately, and I'm worried no one will understand what I'm going through.
I feel so alone. I wish there was somebody I could talk to.
If you're looking for support, Mental Health Minnesota is here for you, with connections to others who have also struggled with their mental health and can provide support and resources. Services are anonymous, confidential, free of charge, and open 7 days a week. Connect today at mentalhealthmn.org or call 855-HERE-FOR-MN today. Sponsored by Mental Health Minnesota, the Minnesota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Important and essential. Irreplaceable and extraordinary. Black Lives Matter. Sing it loud. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Sing it proud. Black Lives Matter. 'Cause all lives matter. All lives matter. Hands up, don't shoot. I can't breathe. No justice, no peace. Hand in hand together we stand. And say, Black Lives Matter. We have always mattered throughout history. We matter. Glorious African
Good morning
kingdoms.
and welcome back to Connections Radio Show. I'm Laurie Fitz and we're talking about ideas that matter. And what we are delving into today is looking at Martin Luther King's holiday coming up and how we all matter. Black Lives Matter. We all matter. What I find interesting about that song, and then I'll introduce the other folks that are here today, but I just had to say something. I had thought that song was after George Floyd because of the breathing I can't breathe.
Right, Eric Garner. Yeah,
and
so
it was like I in terms of having that be a key verse in there even before the George Floyd incident. With us today is Gary Hines, who is with Sounds of Blackness. My co-host is our friend Rick Bernardo. We also have Scotty Herold, CEO of Rock the Cause, that promotes and supports and gives back to causes to support getting us activated and motivated for change. And we're really looking at also allies and our role. And I know, Rick, you had some thoughts on that as well.
I'm trying to be an ally. Yeah. And when I heard, I was just listening to that on that Black Lives Matter, No Justice, No Peace, the name of the song we just heard. And that phrase, we've heard it before. Most people have heard it, not everybody, which is why it's good to have a song about it so everybody hears more about it. But the No Justice, No Peace, very often when you first hear it, when I first heard it, it conceived of it as, unless things are fair, we got things to work out, amongst each other. But then I just heard it on the way here today as, you know what, unless there's justice, I don't think I'm going to have peace even in my heart or soul. I'm not going to even have it inside of me until I know it's not even just, it's going to got to be a perfect world. Unless I know I'm committed to that path, I'm not going to be at peace. If I am, then if I know I'm doing what I can, I have a strength and a power I didn't know I have.
Yes.
So, and it's on behalf of everybody. And it occurred to me that if you're not on that path, you're not at peace, and you're going to be acting out big time. And I think that's what's happening. We talked about backlash before with a lot of people, is they're not at peace, and they're not willing to cop to it, and they're not willing to look at it. And
Well, they're not at peace and they're afraid.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
people are making them. That we talked about fabrications before. There's a lot of things being made up to say you're going to lose. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. Yeah.
Thank you, Donald Trump.
Yeah, the fear. You had some thoughts on that too, Scotty, didn't you? In terms of the work that you do as well.
Yeah, it's something where, within this work, I've seen it from both perspectives. I mean, and I'll be totally fair and say this. I've seen people that identify with conservatism. I've seen people that identify with liberalism who are in many ways unaware of their own bias. And they have a process of fear of change where you can say, this is what a community needs. This is really what the community wants to work on. This is the support the community needs. And if it doesn't fit what they think their vision is, then they are fearful of it and they will push back on you. And it's based on fear because it's like, okay, we want to help, but we don't want to go too far. We don't want to shake things up too much. And so getting past that fear and being able to say, okay, this is what's the right thing to do by people. This is what the communities really need. And being able to bridge that fear on all sides of the spectrum. There's so much fear.
And sometimes it also can come down to just listening.
Yeah, just listen.
How do we do a better job of listening and not just coming in with an agenda?
Yeah, because I think people get fearful because we live in a bubble. And when you prick that bubble and you break that reality that is a non-reality, people freak out.
One of my ethics courses, I had St. Paul police officers, 5 of them in the class, and I had a lot of other people from the community in the class. There was one conversation we had where one police officer, right? Like I'm drunk, said something about what the experience is, and about 3 other students raised their hand. They're like, I've never heard anything like that before. I had this impression of all police officers as this. And there was a conversation for the next half hour in that class that was just all about like, no, we're not looking to blame. And I'm not looking to blame anymore. I'm looking to listen a little more. And that was just remarkable. That was remarkable.
In making your song, tell me about that process. The one that we just heard.
Right. Black Lives Matter. We reached out to at the time, the founder and President Alicia Garza. You may know the name of the National Black Lives Matter office. And we, Sounds of Blackness, wanted to give a theme to Black Lives Matter, the movement, because it was the most recent manifestation of the movement. And there have been all these different manifestations over the years, whether it was in the 30s into the 40s with Marcus Garvey and UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, Back to Africa movement, whether it was the early civil rights movement, the first manifestation, whether it was going back to, again, Reconstruct, all these different areas of the movement as time moved on. And Black Lives Matter was really, and still is, impactful in that. But music has always been in the vanguard of the movement. Artists, and Scotty and I talk about this all the time, whether it was Harry Belafonte or the late, great Billie Holiday with Strange Fruit about all the lynchings. Music has always been in the vanguard with conscious artists. And so Sounds of Blackness are and try to be conscious artists. And we wanted Black Lives Matter, the movement, to have an anthem, and hence the recording and the song.
As a show, Connections, I do believe music is the deepest way that we can connect.
The universal language, as Stevie Wonder says.
It's the deepest way that we can be with each other. And your music brings such power and insight, joy and action and call to action, that it's just a real honor to have you today.
Oh, thank you.
Energy up and down, back and forth, all around.
And I want to hear more of Black Lives Matter.
We gave this nation and the world soul and humanity. We matter 'cause our contribution help and inspire. We matter. All people everywhere to reach higher and higher. We matter 'cause we are God's children, beautiful to behold. We matter. We are far more precious than diamond, silver, and gold. One of a kind and second to none. Our value and our worth, just as great as anyone, anywhere on earth, we proclaim. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. We're not ashamed. Black Lives Matter. 'Cause all lives matter. Hands up. Hands up, don't shoot. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. No justice, no peace. No peace. Hand in hand, together we stand. Black Lives Matter. America's got a lot of problems, but together we can solve them. Baltimore, Chicago,
Hi, I'm Mary T, inviting you to experience our integrative Mary T Health and Wellness Center, offering physical, occupational, speech, and lymphedema therapies. Experience our guided imagery, meditation, Tibetan medicine, dry needling, massage services, including cupping and oncology massage. Sign up for our free wellness screenings and learn more at marytwellness.com. All major health insurance providers are accepted. Come for therapy, experience wellness.
Hi, it's Freddie Bell, host of New Beginnings, heard every Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on AM 950. Each week, I bring you timely information on finances, AARP updates, Minnesota Department of Health information, what's going on around our area, a spiritual message, my words to the wise, history notes, and more. So tune in this Saturday at 11 a.m. for New Beginnings with me, Freddie Bell. I'll see you then.
Hey, Twin Cities, it's Latunji from Latunji's Palette. We're celebrating 5 years in business. Latunji's Palette. It's a place for gourmet pastries, sandwiches, drinks, and so much more. Come on over and visit us at 1400 Park Avenue South. Feel the connection of food and community. Also, we want you to look for our famous peach cobbler and other gourmet goodies at Eastside Food Co-op, Hy-Vee, Lunds and Barley's, North Market, and more. Learn more at latunjispalette.com, where we're built with purpose, fortified with love.
Did you know Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken airs 5 nights a week at 10 p.m.? That's 5 nights of talking about ghosts, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. We're talking about the paranormal every Monday through Friday with some of the most trusted names in the field. Join us and step into the unknown with Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken, Monday through Friday at 10 p.m. Only if you dare.
The AM 950 2024 calendar is still available, and it's not too late to get yours, featuring photos I took around Minnesota and important progressive dates. Members that sign up for a one-time $25 membership will receive a 2024 AM 950 calendar as a thank you gift. Make a one-time $50 or $100 donation. You'll get the AM 950 calendar and a brand new AM 950 tote bag as a thank you. Go to am950radio.com for the details on the membership. That's am950radio.com. Thanks to everyone who's already received their calendar, and thank you so much for supporting AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Is your remote workforce putting your company at risk? Cyber criminals are targeting your employees with COVID-19 inspired emails and attacking businesses like yours. Hi, Mark Sommerfeld from Rymark. Rymark has the tools and expertise to enable your employees to work securely from home. If you need help getting your staff to work remotely and securely, call 651-328-8900 or go to rymarkit.com. That's 651-328-8900 or rymarkit.com.
While I'm pregnant, I can keep our baby safe by not drinking, smoking, or using drugs. But how are we going to keep her safe after she's born?
When I grow up, I look forward to dancing in powwows, going to college, and being successful. But I don't want to be one out of 3 American Indian women to be raped or sexually assaulted in her lifetime.
As relatives and friends of Native women, it is our responsibility to stand up and speak out for every woman's right to be safe in her home and the community.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Trapped in poverty, generations of injustice and inequality. Ancestors changed the world, and though they came in chains, in you the strength and hope lives and still remains. You're mighty and majestic, descendants of kings and queens. Royal blood flows through your veins, children of the dream. Hold your head up high. Hold your head up high. Keep reaching for the Keep sky. Reaching. No matter what, I know you can take it. No doubt about it. You're gonna make it. You're royalty. Royalty. You are royalty. You're royalty. We got a message from above.
Thank you for joining us on Connections Radio Show. We are celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. holiday coming up, but we're celebrating his spirit all year round. He is a guiding light and a source of inspiration, as are the guests and my co-hosts today. We have Gary Hines, who leads Sounds of Blackness, Scott Herold, who is the CEO and founder of Rock the Cause Records, and Ricky
Ricardo Bernardo, sometimes known as Little Ricky. Yeah.
So Rick, share with us how we can make sure that we connect outside of this radio show with both Sounds of Blackness and Rock the Cause.
Connecting outside of the radio show would be a good life, right?
Yes.
Soundsofblackness.org is the website to go to, and you can also check on social media, Instagram, Facebook. Look for Sounds of Blackness there too. But the central website, when you first go there, there's wonderful music, so that'll get you rocking right away. But you can click around, and there's an about section. There's a lot of videos. There's amazing videos. Anyway, soundsofblackness.org.
We were listening to Sounds of Blackness, and we will be continuing to listen to their music. You were listening to Royalty, which is one of my favorite songs, just all-time favorite songs.
That's the name of the song.
I love it, Royalty.
They're Royalty,
and,
too.
I want Scotty to share a little backstory on how that was pulled together.
Absolutely. Well, it's for the listeners out there, in addition to the many hats I wear, I lead the Business of Music and Media program at the High School for Recording Arts in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I lead our vocational discovery program. It is a true partnership between Rock the Cause Records and HSRA, which you can learn more about at hsra.org. And we prepare young people for media occupations like this. But Gary partners with High School for Recording Arts on a number of initiatives that gives an incredible mentoring to our young people. Recently, he auditioned our young people at HSRA to be members of the Sounds of Blackness. Sounds of Blackness rehearses at HSRA, and it's really been a beautiful partnership. So this song Royalty came about, which really incorporates that idea of you are a valued person. You have valued history. You have valued heritage. You're not a thug. You're a gift from above, And so, Gary may not know the depth of this because, I'm very humble about this work, but one of the first promotional projects we did with High School for Recording Arts students where High School for Recording Arts students learned to service the media, meaning sending out press releases, hand working music to radio stations, under my tutelage and mentoring, was with royalty. It was one of the very first projects we ever did. And the young people who worked on that project made $15 an hour.
Yeah.
And they were able to lift royalty up into the Billboard charts.
And tell us the success of that.
It spent 32 weeks in the top 20 gospel and urban radio charts. Our young people consistently get top 40 airplay for Sounds of Blackness.
Yes, they do.
And Gary, Sounds of Blackness supports the young people. They've helped to pay the wages for the young people. They have been just a tremendous force. And I can tell you a lot of projects come in that we hand to the kids and say, okay, we're going to work media on this. But when you tell them you got a new Sounds of Blackness project, they are amped. They are so excited.
They are radically present.
They are radically present. Yes. And the beauty of that work, that we've done with Gary in terms of helping, with radio promotion, like, getting you on here today, et cetera. The students have gone on to study communications, and they've gone on to be courted by different colleges. In fact, we just recently did an interview with WCCO about the Voices of Rondo podcast, the youth podcast that we're doing. And WCCO was so impressed with the work of one of our young publicists that they said, send us your resume. We're going to help you try to find jobs in the industry.
And that's what it's about.
That's what it's about. To me, that is true reparations, is taking historically marginalized groups of young people, giving them access to the economy.
And it's allyship because we are able to connect with those in power to help make that open up and happen.
Absolutely. And Tony Simmons, the executive director of High School for Recording Arts, he's out there listening right now. And it'd be great to have him back and tell you all about this wonderful work. Yeah.
And TC Ellis.
Yes, and TC too.
And I can't help but think how Martin Luther King Jr. right now, if he were with us in this room, would be so proud, would be so happy that
happy to see
the work that's being done. And
Probably
with that,
is.
I'd love to also share a part of his speech that he made about how Black is beautiful.
And I want to say to everybody under the sound of my voice this afternoon that you are somebody. Don't let anybody make you feel that you are nobody. You are somebody, you have dignity, you have worth. Don't be ashamed of yourself, and don't be ashamed of your heritage. Don't be ashamed of your color. Don't be ashamed of your hair. I am Black and beautiful, and not ashamed to say it.
Awesome.
And you are royalty.
Yeah.
Royalty. Yep, in response.
And he's the king.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And Royalty was also nominated for an NAACP Image Award.
Yes, and lost to Beyonce. So if you're going to lose, that's not too bad.
Oh, man.
Right.
Just being in that league of competition is not bad.
Got beat
at
by
all.
a pretty good one. Yeah.
If you're going to get beat.
Right.
Beyonce's made a difference as well.
Yes.
She's brought heart, and she's brought joy. And
she does.
And it's important. In looking at how you came to the High School for Recording Arts and wanted to create Royalty, tell me about that process.
Well, our good friend that we just mentioned, founder David TC, as we know him, TC Ellis, and I had been having conversations over a period of years, actually, even before this came to fruition. Gary, it sounds and HSRA, we got to do something together. I said, brother, we are. I said, I can feel it. It's going to happen. And then KMOJ came up with a community grant to fund such a collaboration. And I'll never forget at the first meeting that we had with HSRA and myself representing Sounds and the as soon as they said, Gary, why don't you write a song for this, for Sounds to Sing and incorporate the students and so forth, immediately the word royalty just started the same way Sick and Tired started ruminating.
Yeah.
Royalty started ruminating, and at the time, the occupant of the White House, which I can never call president,
was that number 45?
Yes, was calling our youth thugs.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where the line came from. We got a message from above. God himself is saying, you ain't no thug, you're royalty, you're the descendants of kings and queens. And also what was the motivation for that is a recent result of the redo of the doll test got the same results. The kids were still picking the black doll as the bad doll and the white doll as the good doll. So it's like, we need you to know your image. And that's all of that went into royalty.
And your experience. I know that I enjoy watching the video because I see you come up a few times in terms of ushering them into a room or supporting them into the next segment. The hip hop part,
Right.
the
Jay
whole
Bree.
Tell me about that experience and doing it with the kids in that video and I'm sure it was how many takes and how many different clips that you have, but I'd love to hear about that experience.
Certainly. Filmed by our dear friend, videographer and an audio engineer and photographer, Carl Deemer of Atomic K, also a colleague of Scotty's, and filmed at HSRA and at Sabathani Community Center, the two places that Sounds of Blackness alternately rehearse. And me guiding and ushering Jay Bree is the young man's name, and opening the door for him was symbolic. I mean, that was real deliberate in terms of the connection with the youth and the direction as well.
And the gentleness in terms of escorting the elderly Black woman across the street.
Mm-hmm.
There was something quite beautiful and honoring of that too. It's almost the honoring of the whole history and of the whole power of the African American women and the honoring of the young to that generation. I thought was beautiful.
You're absolutely correct. And also as being symbolic goes, so much of the activism, especially even going back to the civil rights movement, since we're focusing on Martin today, was youth motivated. Those were sitting at the lunch counters, the sit-ins, the Goodman, Schwerner, and Cheney that
High
were
school
murdered.
and college.
High school and college
That they were
students.
out there.
Yes.
And it's also nice to see the high school students that you're working with their podcast. I'll just throw a little plug in for that too, and how they're making a difference and what vision they see for the future.
Absolutely. That is really at the heart of the work that we do at hsra.org. I mean, through Rock the Cost Records, I mean, I've lived a great life, done a lot of cool stuff. I'm 56 years old, but the greatest work that I've been involved in and that I treasure the most is the work we do with the young people at HSRA. Mm-hmm. Truly, because activism and the things that Gary is talking about your image and self-worth and what that vision that Dr. King had.
Black and beautiful.
Black and beautiful. Say aloud, I'm black and I'm proud. James Brown. That is at the heart of the work we do at HSRA. And we make a difference in those young people's lives.
And I got to say, unless, we were talking about peace and no justice, no peace, unless you're committed to justice, unless you're committed to future generations, you're going to be missing some power in your life.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity.
It is a calling.
And with that, I want to hear more of royalty. So I love this song.
Thank you, Laurie.
And I want to hear some more of it. In our next, and unfortunately, our next and final segment, we'll be doing more on Martin Luther King and a song that the Sounds of Blackness have done for him.
Born with 2 strikes of dementia, trapped in poverty, generations of injustice and inequality. Ancestors changed the world, and though they came in chains, in you the strength and hope lives and still remains. You're mighty and majestic, descendants of kings and queens. Royal blood flows through your veins, children of the dream. So hold your head up high, hold your head up high. Keep reaching, no matter what.
Minnesotans are hardy. We don't let snow or ice get in our way. We have places to go, so making sure your vehicle is in prime shape for winter driving is so important. Take your vehicle to Rudy Luther Toyota for all your service needs. I was just there. I got my oil and filters replaced, and they did a complete safety check to make sure my vehicle can tackle what winter has up its sleeve. And they service all makes and models of vehicles. Head to RudyLutherToyota.com and use their super easy Toyota service scheduler to set up your service appointment today. Rudy Luther Toyota on the southeast corner of 394 and 169 in Golden Valley. The AM 950 2024 calendar is still available, and there's still time to take part in the brand new thank you. Become a sustaining member of AM 950 with a recurring monthly payment of $50 or more, or make a one-time membership donation of $250 or more. And not only will you receive the AM 950 calendar and the AM 950 tote bag as a thank you, but you'll also be invited to an exclusive AM 950 thank you, a meet and greet with me, Matt McNeil. The meet and greet will be happening soon, so you have to sign up now. For more details or to sign up to become a member, go to am950radio.com. That's am950radio.com.
Crooner's Supper Club invites you to enjoy drinks, a delicious dinner, and live music from both big-name local and national artists in a wide array of styles. Before or after your show, check out the new Maggie's Lounge, a perfect spot to visit with friends. It's open Wednesdays through Sundays beginning at 4:30 with cocktails and light fare. And you don't need a ticket to enjoy the great atmosphere of Maggie's. Crooner's Supper Club off Moore Lake and Highway 65. A little piece of old school nightlife in the 21st century.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Winter is here, and there's a good chance your home isn't being heated efficiently. And it's likely because of air sealing and insulation problems. Inadequate attic insulation is the leading contributor to high energy bills, cold rooms, and ice dams. Great news, the energy-efficient pros at Snap Construction can fix it all. Stop the heat from leaking out and save. Call 612-333-SNAP or visit snapconstruction.com for your free infrared energy inspection. Install with Snap Construction and qualify for over $750 in rebates and incentives. State and city programs are now offering 0% financing for qualifying insulation upgrades. So call Snap Construction for your free insulation energy consultation and start saving on your energy bills. Call 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com. Snap Construction is arguably the most well-reviewed insulation and exterior contractor in the metro area.
I want to tell you about a man I know who walked among us not long ago. He lived for peace down here below. His name is Martin. He marched and suffered for you and me. He fought and died for liberty, so we can have dignity. I thank you, Martin. And although I never met you, no, I never shall forget you. No, no, Martin.
Welcome back as we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. and the holiday coming up, and a great way to celebrate.
That was Martin Luther King. That was Martin Luther
That's
King.
right.
I was just underscoring.
And my co-host who was just sharing is Rick Bernardo. We have Gary Hines, who leads Sounds of Blackness. That was the Sounds of Blackness music. And we have Scotty Herold, who is the CEO and founder of Rock the Cause Records. I loved your music. I also am going to do a pitch for everyone to go to the Sounds of Blackness website and watch the videos too.
Soundsofblackness.org. All right.
The music is heavenly to listen to.
Thank you, Laurie.
The videos,
The video ads
are amazing. And they take you even to another level of enthusiasm, optimism, joy. And I want to recommend that if you've enjoyed today, and I hope you have, And I'm sorry if you haven't, but this is a good show.
our condolences.
This is a good show.
If your life is at that place.
Think about allyship. Think about what you can do. Think about these songs. Listen to these songs on Martin Luther King's Day. It's important, and it's important for us to commit to something better. And it's important for us to be good allies, to join hands and to make a difference. We've had many periods throughout our history as the United States, and we have gone to the mountaintop and then slipped back
into the valley.
And we need to get to the mountaintop again. And we need to be able to move through this very difficult period that we're in. And Martin Luther King was one of the rallying calls that pulled us together. And it wasn't just about his dream. It was about telling the economic disparities and the challenges of that. I'd like to share a minute of his speech that I think is really important, that looks at federal subsidies and the challenges of what was shared and what wasn't shared when it came to investing in Americans.
I'm tired of marching. Tired of marching for something that should have been mine at birth. I don't mind saying to you tonight.
And now that was Tired of Marching, which is a great piece as well. But what I'd love to have us hear is now the federal subsidies.
And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our check. At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies.
Yeah.
And they were given to the European peasants, as he calls in another speech, but they were not given to the slaves that were brought to America to work. And that injustice we still need to wring out. We were the recipients here in Minnesota of that land grant institution.
Yeah.
We were the recipients of land that was given mainly to white Europeans. It's time to figure out how we can do this better. We can do this better.
Well, as Sounds of Blackness says in our song, time for reparations. So
That's right.
A lot of people leave off the segment that I'm so glad that you played, where Martin said the next time we come to D.C., we're coming to get our check. So you don't have to wonder if Martin was for reparations or not.
It was. I do want to get in, because I know you love the song, and I think it's important for us to hear You're Gonna Win.
Yes, by our own Jamesia Bennett.
It's powerful. You're going to win. Tell me about that.
You're Going to Win, again, written and produced by our own Jamesia Bennett, and who also directed the video. And thank you for that endorsement of our videos, which are, of course, on YouTube as well. We needed a contemporary and fresh take on Martin's words, "Let freedom ring." That also was a personal motivation, hashtag You're Gonna Win. So Martin personalized this and made it inspirational as well as motivational. And that was at the heart of what Jamesia so brilliantly created.
Go to your website, go to You're Gonna Win, and that's spelled URGONNA, win. You're gonna win.
Yes.
And I'd love to have that be our inspiration for everyone. We all need to win. We all win when we all win.
That's right.
and it brings us joy. It brings us peace in our heart. And it brings us closer to justice.
It's another kind of power. It's a soul power.
Thank you all for all of your powerful contributions. And I'd like to end with more of the Martin Luther King song. Thank you all, and have a wonderful Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And think about ways we can make a difference.
I want to tell you about a man I know who walked among us not long ago. He lived for peace down here below. His name is Martin. He marched and suffered for you and me. He fought and died for liberty, so we can have dignity. I thank you, Martin.
Do yourself a favor and check out the amazing cuisine of eatlocalminnesota.com. More than just a website, eatlocalminnesota.com provides you with the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking cuisine, the Great Wall Chinese restaurant has been a local favorite since 1981. They offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include the sesame chicken, imperial beef, and Peking duck.